Okay, well, no, okay. Thank you for that update. So
But that is annoying.
That is annoying. That is very annoying. I guess we should go talk about Twin Peaks.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you one thing. It didn't give us what we expected, that's for sure.
Not at all.
That show, I swear, I will not, I cannot tell what's going to happen from one moment to the next. It's fantastic. I love it. It's, I watched all 4 episodes, like, kind of back to back, like, totally binge-watched them, late at night. And then I fell asleep, and I woke up, and I felt like I had dreamed all of that stuff, like it really wormed its way into my psyche, and it's probably been nothing. You can say this, of course, about the original Twin Peaks. This is the most unusual stuff I've ever seen on TV, period. I mean, I tell you what, I was not expecting Lynch to go from the last episode of the second season, in the Black Lodge, which was truly unfettered David Lynch territory, and then just ratcheted up another 10 notches. By the time you get to that third episode, I mean, the first 2 are already, dazzling. But when you get to that third episode, whoa, man! If you are not a David Lynch fan, there's no way you're going to make it through.
Well, no, there's not. I think once you get to 3 and 4, though, I think what I really love is that he is back in it, reprising his role. I can't tell you how delightful it is to watch him on screen.
It really is. It really is.
I watched episode 4 last night. I spaced out 3 and 4. And I got to tell you, there's something so joyful watching him. I mean, it's just hilarious.
He's a fantastic actor. He's got such a unique presence. Well, I mean, he's just a unique personality in general. But to see him, it's always fun to see him saying any kind of role, whether it's on this or on Louie or even in obscure movies like Velly and Me and so forth. It's always great to see him acting. So, but
well, I watched it. I have not yet seen 3 and 4 because I wanted to save it for tonight. But I watched 1 and 2, and I was overwhelmed by the Lynchiosity of it all, and I was very pleased that he's on full throttle here. And then I watched it. Then I watched it again, and honestly, when I rewatched 1 and 2, I got a lot more out of it because I was not so overwhelmed by the whole that I could really pay attention to details and narrative and kind of make some connections. But that scene where Laura Palmer shows up that's a great moment when it comes to her.
Yes, it is.
Her figure. And it really is. I mean, this is what's amazing about it. It really is a 2-hour movie, and it's the first 2 hours of an 18-hour movie. Can you imagine? Could you imagine how much work that is?
That is crazy.
18 hours.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like getting 9 David Lynch movies in the summer. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It is just nuts. And I love knowing that he's directing all the episodes. I mean, that's a relief too, because if you feel like somebody else's hand is in it, I'm sorry. It's just I mean, and of course I think we can feel Mark Frost's hand in it too. Like I have a feeling Frost is there to sort of rein David Lynch in back to the story a little bit.
A little bit, not by much though, Dean. Not by much.
I'd be curious. I'd be curious to know the actual dynamics of their working relationship and everything. But just
I almost feel like maybe Frost comes up with a narrative outline, and then Lynch puts in all the tendons between those kind of story points.
Right.
You know, it's he puts in the Lynch. I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
Right.
There is no other way of saying it.
How great is
how?
Go ahead.
No, please. How great is what?
How great is that? Sort of kind of opening scene with the guy looking into the box, you know, kind of mirroring us looking into the box, you know, watching the television, you know.
Right.
But that scene was stunning, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't watched it, but believe me, it really adds up to something quite horrifying. But it's just nuts. I just love it.
And that's it. There's like the folksy humor, the golly gee whiz humor in it that's very Lynchian, and then it's you know what surprised me I think most about it is that it went. It's not limited to Twin Peaks. I mean, from the outset, you go to New York City, and I don't know what they did when they shot that exterior of the skyline in New York City, but it's a dazzling shot.
Yeah,
with the city all lit up. I mean, there was something that really popped about that image.
Yeah, I agree. I love that they're not staying in. Yeah, they're going to Vegas. That's right. That's amazing.
No, that's great.
That scene is insane. But I think it's so great that they're not staying in Twin Peaks. I would imagine there's some people who are not happy about it. But I really appreciate that they're going outside of it, and it's not just a return and here's your favorite characters and everything. You know, it's not doing that. And I got to say this. You know, although I am mystified as why Michael Ontkean didn't show up in this season of the show. He says he's retired, but I do love the addition of Robert Forster as the sheriff now.
I think that's a great touch. I think that's just a perfect touch.
Yeah. I mean, his presence makes me miss Ontkean just a little bit less. You know what I mean? Like, they got a suitable person in here. That's good.
Well, he really did retire.
Okay.
But it is. I mean, a lot of people retired from the original cast, and some of them out of necessity because there were no opportunities out there. But when Lynch came calling, they answered the phone. So it's odd that he was hesitant to do that. But I mean, Robert Forster is a Lynch actor, and that in itself seems a little odd because who's more like no bullshit than Robert Forster?
Yeah, I mean,
it's true, and I'm surprised to learn. I don't know if this is true or not. Just read it on the internet, and not everything on the internet is true, of course. But that Forster was originally approached to play that role back in the 80s, and he couldn't do it. So I thought that was interesting. But I think it's also interesting too that there seems to be some kind of like weird connection to Mulholland Drive and indeed the entire Lynch universe and just in general.
Well, really,
you know?
I think episode 4. I think episode 4 is directly tied into that. I mean, unless I'm missing something, I'll just leave it at that. I think they're all tied. I actually think this is his way. Since this isn't, now we know this isn't his swan song because he said he wants to make more movies. We misinterpreted that whole thing that he wasn't going to make any more movies. He is going to. He is. I didn't know. No one knew about this till this weekend. He just said to make movies is very hard. He's not, and he's absolutely right about that. But he still would like to make movies. But I have a feeling that we're only in the very beginning here. I think each episode we're just going to go a little bit further down the rabbit hole, and I couldn't ask for anything more.
I hope so. I hope that's the way. I hope that's exactly where it goes.
It really is. It really is in not in a I'm copying myself way, but it does feel like a assemblage of everything that we know Lynch for, and in some respects you can look and you can see traces of his prior work in this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure when Dale Cooper escapes the Black Lodge, he'll do it on a tractor. I think there's going to be a lot of, but I want to talk about the reaction to it because there was one comment on a YouTube channel that I responded to, not our YouTube page, but it was a Showtime YouTube video of Twin Peaks, and a guy said, this is the most terrible thing I've ever seen on television. It's like Lynch is giving the middle finger to everyone that's ever loved Twin Peaks. And I was like, well, it's kind of ironic that people said the exact same thing about Fire Walk with Me. And I adore Fire Walk with Me. And for me, those first 2 hours played like the first half hour of Fire Walk with Me. Because if you remember, the first half hour of Fire Walk with Me is pretty effing out there. and you're not even in Twin Peaks during that half hour. And I actually thought that, I know differently now, but I actually thought that the first 2 hours was molded exactly to do that, to be that first half hour of Fire Walk with Me, and then you'd get back to Twin Peaks and it would start like a story about the residents of Twin Peaks more strictly, but obviously that's not the case. But the guy responded to me and he said, "Oh, I love Fire Walk with Me," and I'm like, "Yeah, man, sure you do," and yet
sure.
you just either you know who Lynch is or you don't, and I love half of his stuff. I'm lukewarm on the other half, so I'm a discerning Lynch fan. But I love what he's doing here in this show.
I think I'm less of a discerning fan. I'm more of a true like all in there fan, really. It's not a lot of stuff by Lynch that I'm like I totally dismiss. So, but I'm just glad to see his work back. I mean, when you see those, the kind of art direction and the way that the cameras are set up and the acting style and everything, it really is like seeing an old friend again, and it's absolutely thrilling. It's the movie event of the year. Let's face it. I mean, so far it just is.
Let's also be honest. One of the best things, if you look at the credits, because you have to watch the credits now for sure, is that he does the sound work, which I think is just incredible. I mean, I love that. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, name another director that does this on sound work. I can't think of one. But, I love how
that brings up another comment that I saw people make. I mean, some people made, there's something missing for the series. There needs to be more music. What's up with this sound mix? And I was thinking, this is the exact same sound mix he's been using since Eraserhead. I mean, every scene has that obsessive humming going on, like you're in some kind of industrial factory or something. I mean, that's what this is, a Lynch sound mix. There's no mistake. I heard, I think it was like let me just say this. I think it was a New York Times review or something that said that they had a problem with the song at the end of the opening 2 hours. They're like so unrealistic that that's so ridiculous that they'd be playing a song like that in a country bar like that. And
that's
I thought to myself,
the stupidest comment ever. I saw that.
It really is. I was like,
didn't you watch the original show? It's got Julie Cruz up there.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, it's supposed to be another kind of world anyway. That bar, but I guess the person that was complaining about the sound mix or whatever too is also maybe talking about there's a lack of music in the show. I mean, it's not as heavily it's not as heavily scored by Angelo Badalamenti's great music. as the original, the first two seasons were. So, but I think it's trying to do something different. I mean, obviously, it's going into another world. It's really that's just as plain and simple as I can say. So, but God, I'm loving it.
And what's his name? Matthew Lillard. It's been interesting to see his Twitter feed because nobody really knew how prominent his role would be in the series if they knew he was in it at all. And the level of love that he got the night after it premiered was kind of overwhelming to him. And
right.
I mean, he felt like his career he was kind of struggling, and he said it feels so good to be in something that people notice you in. Yeah, and his few scenes in that premiere are really striking.
Yeah, he's really good at it. I liked Michael Cera. Michael Cera shows up.
Yes, he does. Yes, I mean, it's like giving everyone who missed out the first wave a chance to, chime in. And he's giving everyone their due.
Yeah, I mean, even Brent Briscoe,
Yes,
I love that Brent Briscoe and Robert Forster, who were also in Mulholland Drive for one scene as detectives, and of course, that was a scheduled TV series that died, so they didn't get to, enlarge their role. But I love that they're both back here with larger roles. It makes me wonder if some of this material that we're seeing might have been, repurposed Mulholland Drive.
Oh,
stuff.
I think it is, because I think he felt really burned by that whole experience. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is some of that in here. I mean, there has to be. I can't imagine if you're David Lynch, you're not gonna.
What are you gonna like? You wrote all these episodes of Mulholland Drive, and now you're just gonna throw them in the garbage?
Yeah.
No, come on, please. That's not gonna happen. So there's got to be some of it.
Is Jennifer Jason Leigh? Does she have more to do in 3 and 4? I mean, should appear again?
No, I haven't. I haven't. No.
That's so weird. I hope she has more to do than just be wet for that one scene.
Well, you'll get to see Naomi Watts in the and she's very good too. She's no surprise there, but that's extremely neat to see her in it. So and it looks like she's wearing the same pink sweater that she wore in Mulholland Drive too. It's the same pink sweater that's buttoned with one button. It's really funny.